On Larry King Now, legendary songwriter, producer, rapper, entrepreneur, Jermaine Dupri.
I always thought that in the music industry that once you make #1 records that everything changes.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
On the state of the music industry today.
The streaming services are still not the answer to the record business. Take Taylor Swift, for example. She still sells an enormous amount of records the normal way that you buy records. Music has always been driven by an artist, and that's what we're missing.
On Making Music History, you put Jay-Z on the map, right? Probably did. You said a lot of times, I'm scared, but I believe I can produce anything.
Yes.
When are you scared?
Every day. Right now.
Plus, are you annoyed that people still think of you as Janet Jackson's boyfriend?
No, not really. That's that's an award that nobody else will have.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest, Jermaine Dupri, the Grammy Award-winning, multi-platinum selling producer, songwriter, hip-hop artist, and entrepreneur. The founder and CEO of So Def Recordings, Jermaine is responsible for discovering Crisscross and working with some of the most memorable musicians of this generation: Mariah Carey, Usher, Janet Jackson, and TLC, to name just a few. Jermaine has a new iPhone app called 4 Lanes. He's a DJ resident in Vegas, and an album on the way called The Love Award. Before we start asking him questions, I want to just list a few of your accomplishments. One of the few producers in music history to hold 4 positions in the top 10 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart at the same time. Mariah Carey's We Belong Together, which you wrote and produced, was named Song of the Decade by Billboard and the 9th most popular song of all time. He's recipient of the ASCAP Golden Note Award for your achievements as a songwriter. He works with Usher on his album Confessions, led to the 2nd best-selling album of the 2000s with more than 10 million copies sold. So why don't you quit? Why don't you retire? What else is left for you?
I mean, I love it. I just love doing it. You know what I mean? It's like every record is a restart, or I guess a start. You know what I mean? Fresh, and you get to try to see if you can come up with something else.
You like behind the scenes? I mean, producers usually like behind the scenes.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, it's almost like having a baby. It's like you put all your little fluids into it and then watch what happens.
But yet you have your own album coming out.
Yes, yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I just started rapping. Well, no, I won't say I started. I actually, I write the songs. So I'm in the studio writing songs. A lot of times the artists, they mimic what I'm doing, or they like what I'm doing. Like Mariah, she likes me sometimes to keep my vocals on the song. So a lot of the people just become like Jermaine Dupri fans of just listening to my demos, and then just start saying, you should put out your own album. So the first one I did, and it was successful, it went platinum. And then the second one I did, it was successful, and and it spawned Welcome to Atlanta, and now I feel like people are asking me the same thing. When you gonna put out more music?
You like singing?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if I love it more than making records as a producer, but it's both fun.
What makes a good producer?
A person that understands the roles of each person that's in the studio. A person that doesn't bite their tongue as far as telling the artist what they need to do, and a person that can direct and get everybody in the studio to do what their job is.
Can a producer make an artist better?
100%, yes.
And a bad producer can hurt an artist?
Yes, totally.
So the kind of person who should become a producer is?
Oh, man. I would say a creative person that's really just very creative and thinks of, just has a lot of thoughts that needs to get out.
And doesn't need the ego for himself.
Yeah, it's not about ego. I mean, when you're a producer, you let the stars have their egos. I'm in the studio, I'm like a kid when people come in the studio. I'm just like, let them do what they gotta do.
As an artist, you're best known for Money Ain't a Thing, right?
Yeah, or Welcome to Atlanta, I think. Well, yeah, one of those two.
You think you can repeat the success? Isn't repeating the hardest thing?
Somewhat. I mean, you know, I think for me, it's, I don't even know if it's like beating one or two songs. It's just trying to like continue. For me, I don't even think about beating anything.
Are you good at predicting?
No.
So you've had hits that you didn't think would be hits, and some that didn't become hits that you thought would be hits.
Yeah, probably the latter part of what you said.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you learn from songs that don't make it?
Yes. Because sometimes my songs, I feel like if they don't make it, it's usually got a lot to do with the mechanics of the car that the song is actually riding in, not the actual song.
The mechanics meaning?
The people who are pushing the buttons, the people that take the records and go to different places. I feel like sometimes it's like people not doing their jobs to make records work.
You put Jay-Z on the map, right? Probably did.
I won't say the map, but I would say, you know, as far as I introduced him to a lot of people that weren't really familiar.
What's special about him?
A lot of things. He's probably one of the smartest people I know, as far as just like he knows a little bit about everything. You know, I've had a couple of times me and him have conversations. I'm thinking he won't know anything about this, and he knows a whole lot about it. And if he doesn't know about it, he definitely will try to find out about it.
Is he as good at business as he is an artist?
Probably better artist.
Better artist?
Yeah, I think.
You changed the name of your forthcoming album to the Love Award.
Yeah.
What's the Love Award? I like it, but what does it mean?
That's an award that not many people can receive. It's an award that you would receive this award because people probably just love you and they love the interviews that you do. And if they meet them on the street, they'll probably talk to you about certain different interviews that you do and they say that that's the best. That's that Love Award. When I see people in the streets, people tell me about songs that weren't the biggest hits records. Like when you name my big records, it's records in there that people really love and they talk about the most. That's the Love Award. I think that the Grammys is cool and all these other award shows are cool, but that award means the most to me. That's the genuine award that comes from nobody voting. That's what somebody's heart is actually telling you that they feel.
I get it. Your first single on the album is with Bow Wow called Where You At?
Yeah.
You think of him as a son. In fact, when we interviewed Bow Wow, you were here with him.
Yes.
What is it about him that's special?
Well, I mean, it's a bunch of things. Bow Wow started, he was signed to Death Row at 5 or 6 years old. I mean, it's nobody have a career like him. He started at 5. I signed him to my label at 12. He's 28 now. He's on CSI. He's done 9 movies. He's had about 10 platinum records. I don't, you know, at 12 years old, that's an amazing, he has an amazing career. I just from somebody, just to be a part of somebody having that long of a career.
We're talking with the legendary producer, Jermaine Dupri. Up next, Jermaine on his work with Mariah Carey and what he makes of Taylor Swift. Stay with us. We're back with the incredibly successful, the enormously talented Jermaine Dupri. Mariah Carey's We Belong Together just celebrated its 10-year anniversary. It spent a record-breaking 14 weeks as #1. Did you know that right away?
No.
No?
No.
Did it surprise you?
Yeah.
What's special about her?
Voice, her mind, just knowing what she wants to do is special. Because a lot of artists, they don't actually know what they actually want to do. A lot of them just fall into place. They just make a record and let it take them wherever it falls. The special ones actually know where they want to go, and they talk about it before they get there. And she's one of those.
And you like working with them?
Yeah, yes.
But you also have to work with those who don't, right?
Yes.
So
and then that's when my job goes into overdrive. You know, got to put a little bit more into to direct them and let them find themselves.
Have you dropped artists, you don't have to name them, who are difficult that you just don't want to work with?
Well, not really.
No?
I've dropped artists that it didn't actually work the way I wanted it to work, but not because they were difficult. Just mostly because we just didn't clash.
And did some do successful work?
Yes. Yes.
That didn't bug you?
Nah.
Because it just didn't work for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I go in the studio, a lot of times I have an idea of what I think you should do, so I try to push that upon you. And if, you know, if it's a little fight back and then we put out a record and it doesn't work, I'm on the other side saying, see, if you'd have did what I said, that would have worked. And they on the other side saying, JD, you know, I don't know if we work out. So it's just like we just have to find a happy medium.
Is Taylor Swift the next Mariah?
I don't think so. I think she's Taylor Swift. I think she's an incredible artist, where she is and who she is. It's amazing because she went from, she's like a boxer. She jumps from heavyweight champion to light weatherweight. She's just going, and if she was a country artist, now she's a pop artist. So she's jumping around, you know.
It's like not demeaning, a freak of nature, right?
Yeah. I mean, but they love her, so, and she's smart too, by the way. You can tell she's smart. Yeah.
You said a lot of times, I'm scared, but I believe I can produce anything.
Yes.
When are you scared?
Every day. Right now. All
Of
the time.
what?
I don't know. You just, I mean, you know, it's just...
But you must have enormous confidence in yourself. You have this kind of success, you can't say you're not confident.
Yeah, I think with the older you get, you start losing confidence.
Really?
Yeah, you do. You start, because you're like, the older I get, people make you try to believe that, you know, you're too cocky. Or, you know, you keep hearing like you're too cocky, so you try to fall back a little bit. I was probably, with like 21, I was probably the most cockiest person on earth. But I'm not that cocky anymore. I still got that person in me though, but I kind of try to hold them back a little bit.
Who you look up to when you started?
Teddy Riley was my true idol when I first started. Berry Gordy, Quincy Jones, L.A. and Babyface, Jimmy and Terry. Like all the great producers, I feel like I've taken a little piece from each one of these guys.
What was your first break, your first hit?
My first hit was Crisscross Jump. That was the world knew about.
Did you know it would make it?
Yeah, that one I did. Yeah. If I said, if everybody play their parts, this is going through the roof. I didn't know it was going to be as big as it was, but I knew that it had a place in the market.
Are the days of the record label coming to an end? Up next, Jermaine on the state of the industry and what streaming services mean for music. We'll be right back. We're back with Jermaine Dupri, a multi-talented individual. What a career, what an amazing story. You just came out with a phone app called 4 Lanes. What is 4 Lanes?
It's a phone, it's a game actually that is kind of made from my Money Anything video. In the Money Anything video, me and Jay-Z are racing cars and the police start chasing us. And we're racing for a price we bet that we put on it. So the game is actually from that idea. So it's 2 cars that you play and you gotta get money and avoid the police. And that's it. And the soundtrack of the game is Money Anything.
And is it up right now?
Oh yeah, it's up right now. Everybody can go get it. Please. I actually broke my high score yesterday. I'm in 2nd place though. I'm still not first. It's a girl that's like at 102, 123.
Collect as much money as you can while avoiding the haters, right?
Yeah.
Now it's free.
Yes.
So how do you make money?
Well, after all the apps basically are free. What happens is the more downloads that you get, Apple starts pushing the advertisement on the game, and from the advertisement, that's where you make your money. So, the more people download it and they see the traffic, the more advertisers they send your way.
What took you to that?
I'm a big gamer, and somebody suggested that my music inspires for other things besides just clubs and shows. It could be like a video game. And when he said it, I was like, yeah, I don't know, let's see. And then he showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, you're right. It's a work.
What do you make of this whole world of technology?
I love it. Can't you tell? See?
Yeah, you got that watch. It's been a year for music and technology with all these new streaming services, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify. Where's it going? Where's the industry going?
I think right now it's just an open book for people to just hear as much music as possible. To me, that's all it is. I still feel like Tidal, the streaming services are still not the answer to the record business. I still look at, like, if you take Taylor Swift, for example, she still sells an enormous amount of records the normal way that you buy records. I still feel like we just don't have enough stars in the industry to speak to what I'm talking about right now. But I feel like the streaming services is not the answer for music. Music has always been driven by an artist, and that's what we're missing.
Hip-hop, very influential, right?
Yes, very. Probably the most.
What made that?
I don't know. I mean, it's the highest that it's ever been right now. Like, I believe if I put Criss Cross out right now, they would sell more records than they sold in '92, because the popularity of hip-hop in what we call viral now is amazing.
What else do you strive for? I mean, you've had so much success in so many areas. What's next for you?
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I'm on Larry King to do what do you mean?
Yeah, but I mean, what other than that? But
I know. I mean, it's just so many other things out there for me to touch, and other things that I got to do in my mind. And then I don't want to have to ever introduce myself to people.
Are you annoyed that people still think of you as Janet Jackson's boyfriend?
No, not really. That's that's an award that nobody else will have. That's my own award. Yeah, nah.
What do you make of her as an artist?
Great, incredible. You know, smart. But she came from a very smart family of people that know exactly what they're doing, so.
Did you know all of them?
Yeah.
Michael, a tragedy.
Yes, very.
You still keep in touch with her?
No, I haven't spoken to her.
What?
I haven't spoken to her. Mm-mm.
Do you feel you get the respect you deserve?
No.
Why not?
That's one of my biggest questions. I don't know why. I'm not really sure why, but I definitely.
I mean, everyone in the music business knows you, right?
Yeah, but they don't look at it as, you know, like I could put out a record right now. As I'm speaking about a record, and tell people I'm putting out a record, and people won't. I don't think it's anticipation for the record, and I'll sell like 3, 4, 5 million records, and then people will be like, oh, you know, you don't need no. It's just like.
Why do you think that is? Maybe you need a new PR person, or?
No, I don't. No, it's been like that. I think just coming from where I came from, coming from Atlanta, when I came into the business, Atlanta wasn't cool. It wasn't cool to be from Atlanta. It wasn't cool to even say you're from the South.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So now, it's a different story. But yeah, I think it's just how I was brought into the game. I was overlooked from day one. You know, when I brought Criss Cross in, I don't think people knew what that. Didn't nobody pay no attention to it. They didn't know what that was. And then when I brought Escape out after that, people weren't paying attention to it. You know. And I think that's a lot. That has a lot to do with it. When you create your own artist, as opposed to chasing other artists, because that's one thing I don't do as a producer. I won't go and be like, yo, I want to work with Beyonce, or I want to work with Chris Brown. I'm always thinking about trying to create my own versions. If I could find me a new Chris Brown or find a new Beyonce, I'm trying to find a new.
You're
artist.
Always looking?
Yeah, I'm always looking.
Therefore, you'll entertain people contacting you about, I have an artist I want you to hear.
Yes.
What made Phil Spector great?
He knew what he wanted. He just was, when you know what you want as a producer and a writer, it's hard to challenge that. There's a lot of, like I said, most of the time people go in the studio not knowing what they're doing. Like when I made Criss Cross, I knew exactly what that was.
Jermaine's answering your social media questions after the break. We'll play a little game of If You Only Do. That's next.
Yeah.
We're back with the multi-talented Jermaine Dupri. You're a DJ at the Wynn in Vegas?
Yeah.
Since for 8 years you've been doing this.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, 5, I think 5.
Why do you need to do that?
It's fun. It's educational too.
How so?
Because you get a chance to see what people actually really want to hear, or what they really, really love, or what excites people. Playing music that you're not telling them is coming is basically the same as making music that they don't know. DJs
are worth the money they've been making?
Some of them, yes. Some of them it's a big experience to go to. It's a lot, and it might be more fun than a concert because you get to drink as the person that's you're in the on the floor. And you
How
get to
often
party.
do you DJ?
Every week.
Really?
Yeah, I was in Atlantic City on Saturday, Vegas on Friday. Yeah, every weekend.
Oh, we have some social media questions for you.
Okay.
Just Bogus on Twitter. What's the best way to get a song you wrote to an artist?
Probably sign to a publishing company. Try to sign with a publishing company and get that publishing company to do the groundwork for you.
Is it hard to get a song to an artist?
A lot of times, because it's such a circle. A lot of people, it's hard to break into those circles.
But it wouldn't be hard for you.
Yeah, it's still hard for me. It's still hard. Because
really?
If you're not running with that circle, then you gotta really, really press to get into that, or unless you have an incredible song.
At Henrock via Instagram wants to know how you learned to rap and produce.
Well, I actually started rapping and somebody was writing my lyrics. Shadi, a guy named Shadi, artist in Atlanta. He was actually writing my lyrics at first, and then just me wanting my mind just started moving, and wanting to do more things. And from people telling me that my ideas weren't working or my ideas wouldn't work, it just drove me to just start writing and producing and just saying, okay, they not gonna believe me.
Peter Proprane, Instagram, wants to know if you'll work with Outkast in the future.
I wish if Outkast would make an album. I don't know if they're gonna make a record, but I would. It's artists like that I usually probably wouldn't touch though, because they're great the way they are.
Chris James Music writes on our blog, what would you say is the greatest song you've ever produced?
It hasn't come yet.
Good answer. We're going to play a little game you only knew. I just throw questions at you. Who's the first girl you ever kissed?
Oh. I don't even remember.
It was in Atlanta, though.
No.
No? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Atlanta, but this was, I was on tour since I was like 12, so it probably happened somewhere on tour.
Musician or band fans would be surprised to know you listen to?
Man. I don't know if they'll be surprised. I listen to everything.
A lot of people are like, do you listen to Sinatra?
Of course.
The best,
yeah.
Right? Hey.
Blue, you can't go wrong with old Blue Eyes, huh?
Guilty pleasure.
Video games.
Artist you'd most love to work with?
That I haven't?
Yeah.
I'd say Chris Brown.
What do you think of Lady Gaga?
I think she's interesting. I think she's very interesting.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
The Jedi mind trick.
Proudest accomplishment?
Larry King.
Characteristic you most value in others?
Is that 2 questions?
No. What's a value somebody has that you most like in people? Most value in someone?
Honesty and truth.
If you weren't in music, what would you be doing?
Probably heavy in tech. Heavier than I am in tech.
Is there a thing you believe to be true that you realize wasn't?
Yes.
Tell me what it was.
The music industry, I always thought that in the music industry that once you make #1 records that everything changes.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
Something people don't know about you.
I'm just a fun person. I think a lot of people get lost in me being, in me doing my job and understanding what I do so much that they probably don't know that most of the time I like to have fun and joke and, you know, laugh and play around a lot.
You're at the top of your game, man.
Not yet. I can be.
To quote an old song, the best is yet to come.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks to my guest, Jermaine Dupri. JD's 4 Lanes app is available on iTunes. His album, The Love Award, will be out later this year. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Kings Things. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.